innovative content, global audience.
Leprosy. In the Bible, Jesus healed lepers. When they saw him, they started working. So this epidemic of leprosy has been from time immemorial. It could be described as a state of decay. But what is leprosy? It is a chronic infectious disease caused by a type of bacteria, Mycobacterium lepra. In the human body, some parts of our bodies tend to decay owing to these very bacteria. Today, it's now mostly seen in Africa and Asia. Some say it is a poverty disease, lack of care, and what have you. On this special edition of Community Heroes, I bring to you a woman that could be better described as a humanity personified. She is a philanthropist and she is graceful. A community manager for London and southeast of England, she travels around this area in the UK giving talks and raising awareness, whose projects are located in 5 African and 5 Asia countries. She is no other than Wendy Piccinini. She is the community manager for the leprosy mission. Good morning, ma'am. How are you today? Nice to have you on the show this morning.
Good morning, Princess Kessy, and thank you for inviting me onto the show.
You're highly welcome. I just see you, the smiles that comes with your face all the time. I see you all the time we talk. It shows that what you do it with passion, you do it with love, you do it from a place of that not something you do pitifully, but is it from a place of passion and love. Well done. Now, viewers, she is like I said, on this show, Community Heroes, we bring to you people in our society who are carrying the burdens of others with so much passion, people who do not even see others as less of humans, people who put smiles on the faces of the people, and they do it with love and passion. This is Wendy Piccinini. She is the Community Partnerships Manager, Leprosy Mission. Now, let's talk about leprosy, people. And she's here. Thank God she's here with us. This is something that these people are like, when a house is decayed, when a place is deserted, when a place is abandoned. That is how best to describe these people. The society see them though as they are outcast, they are thrown away. But this woman and a group of other of our people have taken it upon themselves to make sure that they keep giving these people hope to live. And that is why we have her on the show today. Well done, man. And can we meet you officially?
Yes. So as you've already said, my name is Wendy Piccinini. I've been working for the Leprosy Mission for almost 2 years now. My background actually is in primary education. So I was a primary school teacher for many years. But more recently, wanting to serve people and make a real difference in this world, I was delighted to have the opportunity to become this community manager, as you've said, working across London and the southeast of England. And it really is a delight to be able to give talks, presentations in many different places across that region, creating awareness about this disease and letting people know how they can help people in other parts of the world.
Wow. And what is leprosy? The causes are, what are some of the causes, and what is this leprosy to somebody watching right now? And can you give us some statistics so far?
Yes, of course. It's a question that I get asked everywhere I go. It's because it's not a disease that we hear very much about. And yet leprosy is the world's oldest disease. And as you mentioned at the start of the program, many people will recognize the name from perhaps stories in the Bible, but then perhaps have not heard about or read about it since, but it is a mildly infectious disease. Lots of people think it's a skin disease because patches first form on the skin, but they are numb patches. So if you were to take a pen and touch them, you wouldn't have any feeling. And so from that, we know it's actually a nerve disease. It affects people's hands. So people with leprosy often find that their fingers curl over and they are permanently fixed in that position. Imagine trying to do everyday tasks with your fingers fixed permanently in this position. You can see it becomes extremely difficult. It also affects a person's feet and also a person's eyes. People lose the ability to blink, which means that infection can get into the eyes. Because our nerves are so important, they tell us when something is painful. So if you were to put your hand over a flame, you would very quickly move it away. But a person with leprosy can't feel that their skin is burning. They can't feel if they've trodden on a piece of glass or a rock. And this can cause damage. You can see in the photo there the damage that's been caused to that person's fingers because of the disease. Ulcers are a real problem. Where there is a cut, they form, and then infection will come into the body. And so it is a terrible disease. But as I said at the start, it's a privilege to be able to serve people with this disease and help them as much as we can.
Wow. Now, is this a disease contagious?
It is. It's mildly contagious. It's really a disease of poverty. And we used to have it in the UK back in medieval times. But because we have clean water, good sanitation, over a number of generations, we have developed strong immune systems. So actually 95% of the world has natural immunity to the disease. So when I went to India last year to visit some of our projects there, I didn't have to fear catching it. Didn't have to be worried when I was close to many people with leprosy. But as it's a disease of poverty, if you go to anywhere in the world where there is poverty, you are likely to find it. And it's a very slow developing disease. So because of that, it's hard to know exactly how it's transmitted from one person to the next. But we believe it breeds in dirty water because it's bacterial. And most likely it's passed on by being in close contact with other people, perhaps through breathing the same air, coughing, sneezing, like other infections are called.
Wow. How did you even get into this unfamiliar world of, to the extent of being a leprosy activist or advocate?
That is a good question. After I left the classroom, I became a community manager in education. And then, as I say, a couple of years ago, my job changed quite dramatically after the pandemic. And I thought that it would be lovely to work with a charity, helping people, and also being a community manager. And I came across this job one day on LinkedIn. And I am a Christian and I believe in praying for signs when you have to make big decisions. And I was in my church and I was considering, working for this charity. Was it the right thing? And the person who was speaking that day read the story of Jesus healing the man affected by leprosy. And I took that really as a definite sign, confirmation that this was the right step forward for me. And I've loved serving the leprosy mission ever since. So thoroughly enjoying the role.
Wow, that is quite interesting. Now, tell us, Wendy, why the focus on people with leprosy? That is something that the society tends to look away from. I can't remember the last time I heard about lepers or leprosy. I hear the word leprosy. That is something people, we tend to forget about them. Maybe because they are not in the society with people, they are restricted to a particular area, or they are deserted somewhere. So people just tend to forget about them. Why the focus on these people?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Well, the charity, if I take you back to the history of how the charity started, that will help to answer your question. So sometimes we feel, what difference can one or two people really make in this world? Well, this charity was started almost 150 years ago by a couple called Wellesley and Alice Bailey, who are from Ireland. And Wellesley traveled over to India, just really pursuing his dreams, his career. But when he was there, he was shocked by the people living in poverty. But more than that, his heart was broken when he saw people who really had nothing, but on top of that were suffering with this terrible disease. And there was nothing in place, no provision in place to help them. And that was really the start of the leprosy mission. And so I think sometimes we have been asked to broaden what we are doing, but we feel it's very important to focus specifically on leprosy and caring for people, because as you say, these people are often marginalized. It's a bigger problem than people realize. The statistics are every 2 minutes, someone somewhere in the world is diagnosed with leprosy. And we estimate for every one person that we find, there are probably 19 people hidden away because of the terrible stigma that is associated with this disease. So it's a big problem in our world. And yes, we love shining a light on it. We love raising awareness of really this neglected tropical disease of this forgotten people.
Now, so far, all this time you are into this advocating, creating awareness. How's the journey been so far? We know that human beings, they tend to there's this stigmatization that comes with it. There is this, lack of awareness, like you said. Right now, you go without a fear of being getting the disease, but a lot of people don't know to that extent, so they tend to stay away from such people, even you that is maybe advocating on your behalf. So, how's the journey been so far, and what's the rest? Yes.
Yeah, it's been a very exciting journey. As we mentioned at the start, I travel across London and the southeast of England regularly. I give talks in churches, in other places of worship, in schools, to Rotary clubs, community groups, really anybody who is interested in hearing more about the disease, our projects, and how they can help, how they can get involved. I've had the opportunity to go on my first trip. That was last year. Last November, I went to India for 9 days and had the privilege of visiting 2 of our hospitals in the West Bengal district. I was in Purulia and Kolkata, and I visited a vocational training center and a care home. And so it was wonderful to see really the breadth of the work. So not just treating people, giving them multi-drug therapy, the antibiotics to cure them of leprosy, but really supporting people in every aspect of their life to become independent, to be able to work again and be self-sufficient and support their families and really give them their quality of life back.
Wow, that is quite amazing. Now, we've seen that leprosy nurses are caring for these people with these special needs actually going into extinction. Talking about Africa, part of Asia, and a part of Africa. And now, what can be done? Because we know that regardless of their situation, they need care. They need people, also medical care, people to care for them. So, what can be done?
Yes, I think it's a challenge for us and for people who work with this disease, because it's not a disease that perhaps is given a huge amount of focus when people are generally trained to become doctors and nurses. So one thing that we have been highlighting recently is one of our hospitals in India, Salur Hospital, where we have some buildings there that are no longer used, that are in quite an old, dilapidated state at the moment. And we have this vision to transform those buildings into a state-of-the-art nursing college. I'm sure you can appreciate that it's difficult to compete with government hospitals where they have state-of-the-art, facilities, and to encourage that next generation to come and train with us. So yes, we have a project at the moment that, as I say, we're hoping to develop these buildings and train a next generation of nurses. It will be a 1-year course, specifically focused on treating people with leprosy. And where possible, we also recruit people who have been affected by leprosy themselves to give them the opportunity to come and train and work for us if they would like to.
Wow, that is amazing. You're doing so well. But what is the general treatment for these people, and how's the awareness so far? How do we raise more awareness?
So the general treatment, once leprosy has been diagnosed, is to give 3 antibiotics together, a multi-drug therapy. This was a very recent discovery, actually. In the 1980s, the cure was discovered for leprosy. And a patient needs to take that medication for generally between 6 months and a year continually. They are no longer infectious after 24, 48 hours. But in a third of our patients, they experience leprosy reaction, which is when a person has a flare-up, perhaps 10 years later, and we don't actually know why. So we also focus on research and looking all the time for better ways to be able to treat this disease.
Wow, do we have any day? Because I know, as a first person, that of course we have World Malaria Day, World Nursing Day. Do we even have any day like that just to raise more awareness across the world, like World Leprosy Day?
Yes, we do. We certainly do. It always falls on the final Sunday in January.
Okay.
So the final Sunday in January of each year is officially World Leprosy Day. And I should say at this point, although the England and Wales division of the Leprosy Mission that I work for focuses on, as you said, on 5 countries in Africa and Asia, of course, there is poverty in other parts of the world. So the Leprosy Mission is the world's largest leprosy charity, and we have a global fellowship which focuses in other parts of the world, treating and helping people.
Now, let's talk about the stigmatization part of it. What you do, your job, and even the nurses caring for these people, you don't only treat them, but you also deal with their emotions. How do you deal with their emotions? Because these are people that have been abandoned, people that have been classified as unclean. Now, how do you deal with their emotions, or treat them, or help them leave that place of isolation?
Yes. Yeah, it's a very good question. And it's one that became very real to me in my first visit. It's all very well talking about something, but when you actually go to one of these countries and you meet people with this disease, it breaks your heart. And there were times where we sat listening to people's stories. One lady shared, for her, what was the worst thing about having leprosy? I was expecting her to say the terrible disabilities that had resulted because she had terrible ulcers on her feet. She had an amputated leg, and she had had many years of returning back and forth to one of our hospitals to receive care. But I was shocked and surprised when she told me that actually the worst thing about the disease is the reaction of the community. She explained that the last time she'd come to the hospital, while she was away, her neighbors had cut off the electricity to her family home. And worse than that, they had started building a brick wall right in front of her front door. Can you imagine what kind of message, that gives to somebody to have to open your front door every morning onto this huge brick wall. So yes, supporting people, crying with them at times, praying for them, holding their hands, embracing them. These are people that have been rejected by society and people don't want to get close to them. So getting close to them, sitting on the hospital bed, listening to them, is a really important part of what we do. I should also mention at this point, a couple of years ago, we focused on Mozambique, and we raised 4.4 million. 2 million was an aid match from the UK government, but it enabled us to set up these hubs of hope. And these are special places in a community where people with leprosy or people who think they may have leprosy can come, can receive support. That may be physical support, medical support, support for their mental health. And we were able to train 300 change makers, we called them, to recognize the early signs of leprosy, because that's an important part, diagnosing it early. And thanks to the project so far, we're halfway through. It's a 3-year project. More than 1,300 people have been cured since it has begun. And 43 government health workers have received leprosy training. So these self-care groups are really vital places in a community where those kind of lifelong friendships are made and people can come to a safe place, they can feel included and they can feel heard.
Wow, well done. That's quite a lot you do, not just treating, making sure they get better, but also dealing with their emotions. That is one very big thing you are doing there. I'm going to say well done. Now, viewers, don't go anywhere. This is Community Heroes, where we'll talk about people who are doing amazingly well, making the world, the society, a better place for every other person to live in, especially people who have been abandoned by society. We'll go on a quick break now. When we return, we'll continue with Community Heroes. We'll be right back after the break.
మా అమ్మకి 2 సంవత్సరాల క్రితం ఆగస్టు 16వ తేదీన ఈ వ్యాధి అనేది వచ్చిందని మాకు తెలిసింది. గవర్నమెంట్ హాస్పిటల్కి వెళ్తే తంగరాజ్ హాస్పిటల్కి వెళ్ళమని మాకు చెప్పారు. ఈ కోరిక ఎందుకు కలిగిందంటే మా అమ్మలాంటి వాళ్ళని చాలామంది బాధపడుతున్నారు, వాళ్ళందరికీ మంచిగా చికిత్స అందించాలని నా కోరిక. సాలూరులో ఎక్కడైతే నర్సింగ్ కాలేజ్లో ఫ్రీగా మాకు సీట్ ఇస్తున్నారు, అదే బయట కాలేజ్లో ఎక్కడైనా మాకు ఉచితంగా ఎవరు ఎక్కడికి వెళ్ళినా చాలా డబ్బులు అడుగుతారు.
Now, that is part of what Wendy and her team does on a daily basis. Now, you've seen what these people go through. You see how they live and how they are being treated by the society. Now, Wendy, we know that such attacks you have given to yourself, or this job you have decided to do, will be costing so much. because these, like I said earlier, are people who the society don't even tend to remember. Apparently, they don't see them. They are somewhere far away from people. Now, what kind of collaboration would you be looking forward to have? And how is funding like going so far? Because we know this is really costing a lot. We see people sometimes which their legs, hand have been amputated. They will need artificial legs. They need care. So how is funding like for you?
Yes, well, I think like all charities at the moment, we have seen a drop in support this year because of the economic crisis. But of course, there isn't a drop in the number of people, who need care. So to let you know how much it costs to cure a person and transform their life is just £24. That a one-off gift of £24 is what it costs to provide the treatment and really change a person's life. You can give on a regular basis. If you were to give just £12 a month, which is probably similar to a nice cup of coffee, a large slice of cake in one of these coffee shops that we often treat ourselves to. If you were able to give just £12 a month, by the end of, this time next year, you would have cured 6 people from this disease. So even supporting a small amount that we, perhaps wouldn't notice going out of our bank account can make a significant difference to people affected by leprosy. But you did mention a prosthetic leg. Unfortunately, in worst case scenarios where an infection has traveled up through a person's leg, we do have to amputate, and that is as a last resort to save the person's life. But we create a prosthetic leg. We match the skin color. It's a bespoke piece. We want to give people back their dignity. We believe that every person in this world is of value and should be treated with dignity, care, and respect. But of course, that comes at a cost. So it costs £700 to provide a person with a prosthetic leg. So just to give you an idea there. But if the viewers go onto our website, they will be able to get more information and also about different amounts they could donate and how their money would be used. That's leprosymission.org.uk.
Okay, now I want you to carefully, tell us how they can pay to you, how they can make contributions, and of course, how they can get in touch with you via your email, your website, or if there's a WhatsApp number, anything, just carefully tell us so the viewers can get across to you if need be.
Yes. The best way to contact me, if you want to speak to me personally, my details are on the website. With a name like Wendy Piccinini, I'm quite easy to find on the internet, to be honest. But yes, if you go to the website, it's leprosymission.org.uk. And on the community page, you can find my contact details there. But as well as donating, you can sign up for a magazine, and this will give you more information about projects and about how your kind donations make a real difference. You can follow the Leprosy Mission on social media. We are on all the channels for social media. So please sign up and follow us there as well. But we haven't had time to talk about all the places where we work, but on the website, you'll be able to go and see all the individual countries in more detail and find out about the projects, particularly life stories of individuals. We love to follow a person or their family through every step of their journey. And it's always thrilling to see the difference that your kind donations make to these individuals' lives.
That's amazing. Now, Wendy, I know there were times you, as a human being, this kind of gets to you is overwhelming, especially when you start having that stigmatization towards these patients. What keeps you going? What's the inspiration? Where is it from?
Yeah. I think my faith keeps me going. As a Christian, I want to follow in Jesus's footsteps, serving. Jesus came to serve. He came to help people who were marginalized. He always went out of his way to go out into the places where people were by themselves because perhaps they had been rejected by other people. And he gave them his time and he gave them his attention, and he cared very much about individual people, and he wanted to make a difference. And this is what is, well, Jesus is my inspiration, but also as a person with a strong faith, we say that the leprosy mission was built on prayer, and we see incredible things happen through the prayer of our supporters. We see God do amazing things in the research side and in terms of donations and just in different aspects of our work. So it's actually very thrilling to have the privilege to serve as part of the leprosy mission and be part of God's plan. It's God's heart to see an end to this disease. It's God's heart to see an end to leprosy. Jesus actually said to his disciples, go out and cleanse people from leprosy. He actually mentioned this disease by name, which he didn't with any other diseases. So we know how important it is. We know it's on God's heart to serve these people and to help them and treat them as best we can. So yes, that's where my inspiration and passion comes from.
Wow, that is so amazing. That is really, really amazing. Now, Wendy, I need you to talk to people. You know, people is I know that as an activist or advocate, it's not everybody that would have gotten benefited from this mission, leprosy mission, but we still have people out there that can't even get across, or maybe somebody that might just see you for the first time. Leave a word for them, especially people like this.
Yes, well, everybody can do something. Everybody can help. Maybe not in the same way, but I would ask you, first of all, please pray for our work. That's a really important part that we were just talking about. And we know that prayers make a big difference. So please do to remember to pray. You can get a prayer diary. You can call our main office in Peterborough, and they can send you some information to support your prayers, to help you to pray for our work. Please raise awareness. Let people know about the leprosy mission that you've heard about this morning. Let people know that leprosy does still exist. We have a couple of fundraisers that you could hold in your local area. One is a tea party, so getting some friends and family together to share some tea and coffee and raise some money for the leprosy mission. You could hold a quiz night if you enjoy quizzes, and we have everything ready to go for that. If you belong to a local primary school in the UK, we are looking to go into schools. We have this fantastic Bella book, which is a story book about a child who suffered from leprosy, and some fun things that children can have, a little key ring of a sandal, because we provide protective footwear for our patients, a wristband, and a little leprosy mission bug. So we're looking to get into schools. So if you have any connection with schools, then please let them know about what we're doing and ask them to go on our new schools page website. If you know anybody in the London area or the southeast of England who would be interested in hearing more about the leprosy mission, please tell them to make contact with the website. I would be delighted, or one of my volunteer speakers, to come and share more about it. But of course, everybody listening can go onto our website and make a donation, however small everything comes together to help. It all adds up. And as I said, it's just £24 that will heal a person today from leprosy. So, yeah, please consider how you could get involved, how you could help to raise awareness of this disease in your community.
Wow, amazing. Now let's see the next video, and maybe that will make you understand more what this leprosy is all about, or get to have a feel of it. We'll be right back.
Leprosy Mission Nigeria Orthopedic Workshop, situated. I want to use this opportunity to welcome you to the Leprosy Mission Nigeria Orthopedic Workshop, situated in Chanchaga, Niger State. This workshop was established in 1998 with the primary objective of providing prosthetic limbs for people affected by leprosy free of charge to those who can't afford it. In my time of working with people affected by leprosy, it is the stories of isolation that impact me the most. Disabled by the disease, many people are unable to leave their homes. They are excluded by society and forgotten even by their families. But here at Chanchaga, we want to see people living with independence and live to the full. A prosthetic limb can provide just that. The Leprosy Mission Nigeria's Orthopedic Workshop has provided thousands of prosthetic devices and other assistive technologies to the people that we serve. One such person is Nuhu. His leprosy went undiagnosed for 12 years, and due to badly infected ulcers, his leg had to be amputated. When his wife heard about his leprosy, she walked out on him and left him alone with their 4 children. This is what he has to say now.
India Nuhu Ibrahim daga yongoji Allah hawtiyan be kuturu nangiyan bo Allah hawtiyan ko moshin be don be gaddiya yongoji ay be kokkiyan koyngal be gaddiyan daga no inde do dum Chanchaga. Be kokkiyan koyngal mi godana kebe har joni har jango bo kamba dorgodiya gommi na gode har gobe mission na Allah shaka mashu.
A prosthetic limb is life-changing for Nuhu and his family. Nuhu told us, when I lost my leg, I will never go out and meet my friends, and became depressed. But now, this will completely change my life for the better. We are reminded in the Bible that Christ came that we might have life in all its fullness. Here at Chanchaga, we want to see people enjoying life in all its fullness, living independently, and playing an active role in their local communities. Sadly, there are many more people with disabilities just like Nuhu who desperately need a prosthetic limb. You can provide someone like Nuhu with a prosthetic at Chanchaga. Please support them, however you are able, and give them lasting independence and freedom. Thank you, and God bless you.
This is so touching. Already having goosebumps. I don't know. This is touching. Now, this is the time to donate. If you're watching us right now, you can. That is basically what they do with the funds. You've seen how they are putting smiles on the faces of these hopeless people, giving hope, restoring their hope. Somebody who couldn't walk, who does not even have the leg. One of the leg was amputated. You see how they had to give him that artificial leg to make sure he feels alive again. Now, this is how they channel all the resources, and this is time for the public to please, donate towards this good cause. I'm going to leave that with Wendy. How can people even donate? I know the most amazing thing is that country right there. I am from Nigeria. That is why I feel this way. And I'm the same. I'm from the same country. No, and it's even more amazing to know that you are from the UK, but you are reaching out to people in Africa. that is why we're really calling on people to donate, to make donations to this very good cause. Now, how can they get across if they want to make donations for things like that?
Yes. Before I answer that, I'd like to give you a little bit more information about that orthopedic workshop. It's in Minna, the Niger state, and it is actually the only orthopedic workshop specifically for people affected by leprosy in the whole of Nigeria. So such a vital place for people to be able to come. We provide mobility aids, assistive devices, so as well as prosthetic limbs, foot and hand braces, molded shoes, crutches, wheelchairs, and protective footwear. And everything is provided free of charge to people who need it because, as you said, we rely on donations. And the man featured in that clip, Nuhu, just to give you a little bit more information about his story. When he was diagnosed with the leprosy, he was immediately rejected by his wife, and she started divorce proceedings. So not only did he have to deal with the news of that terrible disease, but to also, lose his marriage because of the terrible stigma that we talked about earlier in this program. He has 4 children to support. So he was left really as a single parent. And it's wonderful, isn't it, to see the transformation. He was given the prosthetic limb and the ability to walk again, trained with physiotherapy. And he is now back with his children, back working as a farmer, sustaining his family again. So it really is wonderful to see the transformation of the lives of individuals. But as I said, please go to leprosymission.org.uk. Across the top is a heading for donate. It's very simple to donate. You can give a one-off donation, or maybe you felt this morning this is something you'd like to get more involved in. You'd like to give on a regular basis to carry on supporting these people. Which would be wonderful. So please go to the website and see more information there.
That is amazing. Now, just before we let you go, Wendy, I'm very inquisitive to know, when these people get better, they can be reincorporated into the society, right? They go back to the society because at that point they've been cured and they've been cleansed, right?
Yes. That sounds simple, doesn't it? That sounds simple. However, sometimes people do face discrimination. So education is also a very big part of what we do.
Okay.
So we educate in schools, we educate communities so that people don't fear the disease, living next to a family affected by leprosy. There is a lot of stigma surrounding the disease still, and children are often excluded from schools once they have the disease. People can be thrown out of their communities or driven out. This is why a lot of people still very much hide, if they can hide the fact that they have the disease because there isn't any physical disability. They would often keep quiet about it. So in theory, yes, they will go back into their community, but as I say, we would support them. But sometimes they need to come back again for further treatment. I did mention at the start that 1/3 of people get a flare-up, and we don't actually yet know why that is. So for some people, continual treatment is necessary, but they can come back to our hospitals as many times as they need. And they often say, when you speak to them, how much they love the fellowship they receive there, the care, the love, because they feel accepted there. And it was really wonderful to hear that people say that, firsthand in my trip last year.
Wow, that is interesting. Now, what about that nursing home in India? How is that going?
Yes, so we've been highlighting the hospital with Salur. We had a clip, didn't we, a little bit earlier about that. We are raising money to build and restore restore the existing buildings, build some additional buildings to turn it into a college for nurses. So we need some kitchens, classrooms, accommodation. And we are now focusing on the equipment. The equipment side. So to give you some ideas of how you can support that project, £36 would pay for the books that a student nurse would need to study. £100 would pay for the essentials kit. And what we mean by that is basic equipment like a stethoscope, because of course we need to provide everything that is needed, for our nurses to train. And for £4,000, that would pay for 10 computers for one of the classrooms.
Wow, that is amazing. Well, thank you so very much, Wendy, for all you do for these people, for all you do for the society, for the world at large. We're proud of you. We're proud of your team. We're proud of everything. You keep putting smiles on the faces of the people. That is not an easy job, I bet, especially when it has to do with a lot of emotions, stigmatization, discrimination. But you were there, you do it with so much passion. Now, we appreciate you and your team. Viewers have been on the show with Wendy Piccinini, Community Partnerships Manager at the Leprosy Mission. Now, she works across, cut across to London here, Southeast England, and they travel around the UK. And of course, they also cut across to African and Asian. As you can see, even Nigeria, where I'm from, is a beneficiary of this great movement. So we appreciate you. We say thank you and well done. Well done.
Thank you so very much for inviting me on the show. Thank you.
All right, viewers, it's been a wonderful time with Wendy, but I must say it's quite touching as well. A lot of people just do extraordinary things in our society. Who would have thought a woman as beautiful as this, she has taken so much tax upon herself to make sure the people living with leprosy have hope against live. These are people that have been restricted. These are people that have been pushed away from our society. They consider them as unclean, but here she is today doing amazingly well. And we say, well done to her. You too, you can. If Wendy can, you can. You can get across to them, especially through your website. And of course, make sure you reach out to them any way you can. You can either be a volunteer or you can, help a nursing student. You can help a patient with leprosy. And then you will be, what the Bible says, whatever you do to the least of the brethren, that is what you do unto God Jesus himself. So you can, if when they can. Until I see you again, remember, help does not, you don't need to go far to start helping someone. Look around or watch this video. You see a reason to help someone today. I'll see you again on Community Heroes next week. I remain yours truly, Princess Kessy. Have yourself a beautiful afternoon.
Hooray! The next President Show is here again. Are you aged between 18 and 30, smart, bold, and possess exceptional leadership skills? Do you have what it takes to be the next youth governor and future youth president? Then register free now at superiorradioandtelevision.com or call the number on the screen. The Next President reality TV show, moving politics out of the polite drawing room into the clamor of the streets.